then, my fellow hunters. Ha! Honestly, I'm not even calmed down. I am immediately coming off the back of having my mind expanded by one incredible trailer, an incredible set of new monsters, and I need to dig deep. I need to go frame by frame. I need to examine, and you guys are coming along for the ride, whether you like it or not, though I would suspect that you're probably in camp like it. So, without further ado, let's have a proper little look as I go through it just a little tad bit more methodically than earlier. So this new area is called the Scarlet Forest, and it is the equivalent of the Windward Plains. It's a whole second full locale revealed, and I love that it's not just, you know, generic jungle or forest. It is this specific Scarlet Forest with a vibe, and that vibe is horrifyingly beautiful spider infestation. So we have this, who looks like maybe a researcher or someone with us on the guild. And then Lala Barina is the name of our white, fluffy, scarlet rose spider. So this floret will obviously come off them, be part of, as we see later, their web design, how they stake their territory. So finding one is kind of a, oh no, they're close. So we continue on, and yes, we are indeed near its nest, but we also see that the Scarlet Forest has knee-deep water as part of its zones, which opens up all sorts of possibilities for monsters that may, you know, need this kind of little layer of water to operate, but beyond that, it is, yeah, red-tinted, which is really kind of spooky and delicious at the same time. And you can see the little florets from our new spider just kind of around the place on the ground. There's one on the left, so it's quite a nice little telltale sign of them, perhaps to track them. Then we have a new guild hammerer with quite the nice looking hammer there with us. I assume then that maybe they are one of the NPC hunters we can bring along at this time around, but we shall see if that remains to be an actual thing. But what is an actual thing is this incredible nest, this literally crimson web that has been wrought by our new best friend, Lala Barina. And we can see her just kind of hanging there, waiting for that telltale twinge to spring into action. And she is so spindly and angular and horrifying, but at the same time, kind of enchanting and alluring, and even just a little bit cuddly, though perhaps this wasn't the best frame to get that. But look at the white tufts of hair, some proper tarantulariness. This is something we've never really gotten from the spiders. Yes, Raknakadaki had a sort of cloak of web and still of the skin, but proper tufts of hair tarantularly? That is exciting. Then we have these intense crimson compound eyes, the mandibles, that almost look a little bit more ant-like or mantis-like than straight-up spider. And honestly, to really touch on that, if we do literally compare it to a close-up of an ant's face, yeah, it's definitely more ant than spider, even though it is clearly a spider monster. The big giveaway is that extra trio of eyes at the top of her head. They are known as the oculi, and they are known as simple eyes. They are found on the forehead of ants, and this is a very much clear indicator of some inspirations being taken. I love this sort of mashup design, and we'll obviously see its arms in a moment, and one thing that spiders don't tend to have is a pair of clawed arms. So there is a bug mashup element going on here, and if there's one thing that ants are known for, it is having a lot of them. It is swarming in a lot of them. Which does make me wonder if there might be multiple hiding up in these webs, though so far the trailer paints them as solitary, which might be for the best for all of our collective hearts. Though, and a warning, 'cause in a couple seconds I'm going to throw up an image of a actual tarantula, so if that really freaks you out, then just skip like 30 seconds from now. But there is literally a rose tarantula that has a brighter pink spot on its thorax, which could seemingly be giving a little bit of inspiration here, given that we do have the fur, which is very much tarantula territory when it comes to arachnids. But either way, it is nice to see an insect-arachnid hybrid in Monster Hunter in such a distinct way. And it really is already a classic Monster Hunter design in the making. The way that it moves, the spindly twitches, and then the roar to reveal its clawed paws. That is just vicious. It really, really is. And it does have these kind of spinny movements that we just saw that do sort of echo that ballerina motif in its name, so I feel like we're up for quite an elegant, fast fight there. We have this stab, and then it does the rose. This is, of course, the spider that's responsible for the armor in the Charge Blade trailer. The rose motifs, the white fur, I mean, it's all there one-to-one, but the actual monster then blooms this rose out of its, I suppose, webby-like substance. It's just rapidly making it, but then it spits out this kind of red substance. The question is, what does that do? It'll clearly be a debuff of some sort, but how will it interact? You can see little clouds of these florets falling to the ground all around you. If you walk into them, I imagine they will affect you negatively, and while her rose is bloomed, she will be kicking them out all over the place, but how they actually affect you is really, really interesting. Though we don't have to wonder for long, because, look, we immediately get paralyzed for touching it, so I suppose that answers that question. We then see our lovely Lala Barina have a turf war with a doshaguma, so this not only is awesome to know, but it means the doshaguma can be in the Scarlet Forest, not just the Windward Plains, so that's nice too. And then we get a little bit more. Oh, yeah, obviously, she will hunt with us, but it does depend if it's just story missions only, like Dame Fiorane in Sunbreak, or if it's going to be a potential option, but either way, we are teaming up on a doshaguma, and I mean, look at the zone. The pillars, the rock, the overhang, the growth, the red crimsony water against the green, the thick roots, it's a bit mangrovey, but it's just got so many lovely elements just wanting to be explored, while this doshaguma is over here like, please, mercy! And he will get none from this lovely bit of jewel blading. And talking of this lovely bit of jewel blading, we see this, like, amazing sort of leaning left while they're running before he rights himself, which is just an incredible bit of detail of momentum. But then this pure, glowing, clearly demon mode run is just looking to me extra savage here, and it does lean into a quite ridiculous combo, starting like the usual flurry, but those extra arcs and flashes with each strike, they're not crit lines, they're following the weapon, they're not on contact with the monster, and then we keep flashing through the levels of combo, and it is a ridiculous series of attacks. I don't think that was in the weapon trailer. I could be wrong, but I think there is plenty to see here that we haven't actually gotten for the weapons, and a lot of moves and combos and such that will still be up for discovery either in later trailers or when we actually can finally play it. And by finally play it, I mean the active demo that's going to be at Gamescom from tomorrow. Then we do get this camp. Every single locale is going to have a camp like this, so a camp in the Windward Plains, a camp in the Scarlet Forest, and so on and so forth, where we will have our facilities. There'll be NPC hunters, there'll be members of the local tribes-esque people that live in each of the locales, and I mean, it's just awesome. It's that classic Monster Hunter detail and love you expect, all of the food lovingly modeled everywhere you look, a feast for the eyes, the palicos being charmingly palicos. It really does look like we're going to have a lot of home bases to wander around, and nothing too crazy in terms of any facilities jumping out so far. This clearly is a chief of a local people that we are going to encounter, and we do see so many of those local people. They have customs, they clearly have traditions, they have ways of life that allow them to exist, maybe not thrive, but certainly survive in, well, the wilds. A lot of this crystalness going on in nature, I do wonder if that's from a monster. They're embedded everywhere. Whether they find them, dig them up, or harvest them from a creature is a big question. The sands come alive at this time of year, alluding to the weather cycle, but seeing them all in their fascinating outfits, and look, just this idea that in Monster Hunter we're going to get to arrive at a village and experience this, well, culture that is so disconnected from the guild and your usual settlements that are so integrated with hunting. They have their secret stables, as clearly they're the ones that tame them and use them for transport, and then we get the introduction of, yes, our lovely Thor Magala, and he is indeed called Rey Dau, and he is better than we ever could have thought. Golden, glorious, lightning god. And indeed, the Windward Plains, apex predator, now fully confirmed, but supposedly not the flagship, or a flagship. There's still no real word on that. But seeing his horns outwards, it just gives him this even more horrifying visage, but it's so badass at the same time. So this looks like our first encounter with him, like it's about to transition from cutscene to you're in control, and then we get this lovely guild permission granted, begin the hunt, which does seem to be a motif, but look at him! The weather around him, the storm, the crackling lightning, the atmosphere, the reflections against his metal golden scales. Also, was that a dig? Did it dig? It did, right? Am I imagining it? Or when he puts his head down, does it actually lower the ground and create this little, like, knock into it? Like the sand's been compressed in? Because actual terrain being altered in that way is quite the big deal. That is so exciting. These elegant moves crackling with lightning. This seems like maybe its nest, and we do see these crystals that look like the ones the native people are using, so maybe they are to do with his electricity discharging it into the sand, like lightning hitting sand can make glass. Maybe in his case it makes crystals, and that's what they use to decorate their huts as ornaments, etc. And they have a respect and fear in equal measure of this lightning apex. Perhaps we've chased him back to his nest here, but then that! The horn locking forward for raygun mode! Oh, yes! I just can't get over it. And I do want to draw a little bit of attention here. Remember a while back I theorized that the lightning in this area was what creates the distinct rock formations, as there is a distinct type of rock formation formed by lightning strikes. You can identify it. Well, check out what happens when Mr. Thor Magala uses his presumably ultimate attack here. The ground goes ba-boom along with the hunter, and then, oh look, what's there that wasn't there before? That lightning-y, pillory white rock. Known as fulgurite, meaning fossilized lightning, it very much seems like our apex has done a lot more than just exist. He has shaped the actual landscape of the Windward Plains. Whether that stays and creates like a physical barrier for you to hunt around and fight within is a whole other question, but damn, that is some loveliness. The terrain is going to be literally shaping to our battles in wilds. A little bit more Lala Barina in the Scarlet Forest, seeing a little bit of the weapons that were revealed in their armor sets, still new monsters that we know exist, but we don't know what they look like from the armor sets, and then, yeah, a mobile on-the-go camp like we thought. That is very nice to see. Ghillie Mantle is confirmed to let you do the new critical surprise attack, so mantles in general. Our Palico is using a little explosive carriage. We have ourselves once more a little bit more of the weaponage, the clash with the sword and shield, which is really nice, and then here they are harvesting said crystals that I think are really created by him. 3 locals just getting water, and the little details like that is just lovely. Like, that's kind of what you want. And then running more along the Windward Plains. So that's the trailer, but we have a few little extra snippets very much worth enjoying everything on the official website. First and foremost, then, we have a little look at the ecosystems, and more specifically, Scarlet Forest. Following the river found in the Windward Plains will lead you to the verdant Scarlet Forest, with its towering trees and abundant water. As you take your first steps here in your journey, your eyes are drawn to peculiar red-coloured water found on the forest floor, alluding to our new spider. And this, then, is very much a big deal. We get the village named, then, it's Windsong Village, Kunafa, and this is the Windward Plains settlement, and it is the home of the tribe that uses the sekret, raises them, and then they make some really good cheese. And I do love the decorations on the sekret, the outfits on the people, the chief. I don't think there's much wyvern action, though I'm sure there will be in the game as a whole, but I do wonder if this means we can do a little bit of secret customization, given that they are. And then we continue on then and get the Scarlet Forest once more, and for now all we know is the one monster that calls it home that is native to it. But there is even more yet. We have expeditions. These are very intriguing. Expeditions can now be undertaken with a number of objectives in mind. Additionally, any monster currently in the area can be targeted any time in order to start a new quest, and then supporting you in your expeditions will be, yes, your handler and your palico, and then your secret mount and new tools. This, I'm assuming, is just simply their expression, because we've had expeditions in Monster Hunter games, you just go on a map and woo, but this then, I think, is the, you just walk out the village and you're on the map, there's no loading screens, you choose a monster, that becomes your quest, and then we're off. And I think these some monsters can't be targeted is how they get around, how your story progression is obviously tied to which monsters are even available to you, but this whole thing is nice to see. And then we get a little bit more info on the pop-up camps. A set number of pop-up camps can be set up in each area. They let you manage your items and equipment, serve as fast travel, and a place to start quests. So you don't have to go back to the village to start quests, you can do it at your pop-up camp, and it does look like we will be able to restock and change items, just like the regular tents that we would expect from World, Rise, Sunbreak, etc. And also, the animation for it appearing is just super charming, with the palico setting it up and exploding into existence. Happy tent face. Yeah, it's really, really nice. And the fact that they will be fast travels, but we can choose to set them up, is really interesting. I think speedrunners are going to have some fun min-maxing that, but there should be some really advantageous locations that it's hardly recommended to just have one kind of there. I do wonder if they can get destroyed, or you'll have to replace them or anything as battles rage, as they probably won't be in safe areas if you can just put them anywhere, or if it's going to be specific locations, but it doesn't really seem like that's the case. And then we've got a portable barbecue kit that will give you the food buffs anywhere you want. You don't have to go back to a camp, which is just some really nice quality of life, and it also looks so delicious as always. Then we get another little look at our new character that is going to be present on our journey, and it is Olivia, a hammer main and a member of the Forbidden Lands expedition team, previously doing special missions for the guild, and now she is here, and she can act as support during quests. So it would seem that it's any quest, not just specific story ones, and we might well get a roster of NPCs like that, which is really interesting. Also, I have to assume at some point her armor will become available, and her armor is phenomenal, as is her hammer. It might be basic, but yeah, it looks like it's really going to get the job done. And then, honestly, a palico that might actually rival Meowscular Chef in just pure fabulousness. Look at him. And also his weapon, too. It's like got leaves tied into it, the little metal almost beak motif. I do wonder if this comes from a monster we've not seen yet, something more tropical with green feathers. That's one to keep an eye on, but I've never seen such a cute cat that also looks like it could kick everyone's ass. I think Athos is phenomenal. Then, once again, just a little bit more on the base camp, indeed how it is going to be in every zone, and is going to act as all our supplies, as we might imagine, blacksmith, item shop, so on and so forth. Then we just get a little bit of a look at the two new officially named and thus confirmed monsters, Lala Barina, who is a Temnoceran, of course, and can at will open up the rose abdomen and fire out all of those little florets that will paralyze you. And goddamn, look at her. Oh, and then, yes, Rey Dau, who I swear has a little bit of a mothy motif when his horns are at the side, and he is a big boy. The apex of the Windward Plains, flying wyvern that rules Windward Plains as its apex predator. It's adapted to the lightning that accompanies the sand tide, with most sightings having occurred during the storm. His ability to discharge electricity, his powerful attacks pose threats to even the most experienced hunters. So there you go, guys, a little bit of extra info for you, definitely worth knowing, and I hope you have enjoyed this further breakdown. For now, let me know your thoughts on everything. I am just so happy and excited. Like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.